Look, I am on my Minisforum Meta right now. My primary desktop is a Minisforum desktop. I can't bring it, it's too heavy. My mini PC, I have this one right here, the Minisforum MSA1. I have a video on this. It's unplugged right now because I also just bought the MSA2 and I'm doing a comparison video. I am now going to do a review of the Minisforum X1 Non-Pro. There are two models here. There is the Minisforum AI HX and there is the Minisforum AI HX Pro. I'm going to review in this video the Non-Pro. Okay, now I'm going to actually do a little bit of face cam and show off the website because they have a few different models here and I really want to show you what makes it cool before we get into the actual product itself, because there's a few different options here. So the Minisforum AI X1 is here, and then there's also the Pro model. They're a little bit different. They're similar, but they're a little bit different. So I'm going to show you them here. The AI X1 is the lower cost model, but just because it's lower cost doesn't mean it's really skimping on the quality. First of all, there's a coupon here. This is nice. So this one here has the Ryzen AI 260. That's the model that I have here. It's actually just a refresh of the previous gen, which is an 8845 HS, which is a really good CPU. And you do have some variations when it comes to what you get there with the extra equip stuff. It looks like that, there's a sale here, and then they have some coupons as well, right? So on the front here, we do have two USB-A ports. Very good speeds there. You're going to get one USB 4 port. The USB 4 is going to be fantastic for using high bandwidth peripherals. So for example, you can hook up a USB 4 based NVMe enclosure, toss in an NVMe, and rather than getting something like this that might give you 1,000 megabytes a second, something like this that might give you 500 megabytes a second, you'll get 3,500-ish megabytes a second out of USB 4. Fantastic for things like video editing. Really good for a product like this. You can also hook up things like this. This is an eGPU dock here. This is a USB 4 dock. It's going to give you extra display type options there. Really good if you want to hook up, that peripherals, because you do get good ports here on the Minisforum, but you can hook up a lot more peripherals and a lot more expansion because it has that USB 4. USB 4 is still amazing for docks, peripherals, and that, and it's a mandatory thing for me. Any device that I'm going to use as a daily has to have USB 4. But here's where things get special. Not only do we have USB 4 on the front, we have another USB 4 on the back. Not common for a mini PC to have two USB 4, but here's where things get cool. Not only do you have two displays here, you also have an Oculink port. Oculink is used to hook up eGPUs that are going to be much faster and have higher bandwidth than USB 4. So while USB 4, let's say you have a 4070, the USB 4 is going to chop off quite a bit of performance. It comes down here and you're only getting 60% of performance. Oculink doesn't have that problem. You only top up maybe a tiny little bit. So you're getting what I would consider very close to full performance out of that GPU. And Minisforum does actually make a eGPU, the Minisforum DEG1. If you've watched my videos, any of my mini PC videos, you've seen this, or like any of my videos recently, you've seen this in the background. I use it as a primary with a GPU on it, 4070 Super in this case, and I'm going to show you that that's going to hook up with Oculink to the back of this here, and I'm going to get massively improved performance. Now the actual device is nice. You get a nice metal kind of trim, I guess I'd say, around here to give it a nice aesthetic. My Mac Mini, you can't really see it in that thing, but it's got a nice Mac Mini look to it, which is good. I mean, the Mac Mini is a nice looking little machine. And lots of ventilation on the sides there. So lots of exhaust, intake from the bottom, big fan there as well. So hopefully it runs cool, we'll have to see, but it looks good. And there's an exhaust there, so we get, dual kind of thing. That's component cooling, like SSD and RAM. You can actually see the Crucial peeking through there. And that's the CPU, APU fan. So they're independent of one another. There'll be the motherboard in between, and should run relatively cool. So that's going to pull in air from there, exhaust out the back for the CPU. This guy will pull air in there and kind of just come out, just trickle out basically. I don't know. I'm going to pull that out first. So that comes out and you can see we have, holy heat sinks. Jeez. Those are massive thermal pads that are going to sit on top of the NVMe. So NVMe 1, NVMe 2. So that'll keep the RAM, the storage nice and cool. That's a huge thermal pad. The fans in general are just going to blow air in here and keep it cool as well. But it's nice that you do get those nice thermal heat soaks there. That'll be nice. There's a little fan motor there. Very good. Okay. Inside, we do have pretty good expandability. So we have one NVMe, two NVMe. So it comes with a Kingston drive. Good brand name brand drive, 1 terabyte. Optional, put in a second one there, so you can easily take this thing. I mean, you could do 8 and 8, take it up to 16 gigabytes with no problems whatsoever. Optional for you. And let's get that kind of out of there. 2 sticks of RAM. Looks like this one did ship with nice Crucial RAM. Holy crap. That has 32 gigabyte sticks in it. Yeah, so you get 32 and 32. And so if you do want to do the thermal solution, we'll see how it runs stock, the fan there. I'm sure it'll run nice and cool. We have a giant fan there. But down the road, you know, maybe you have to service it or something like that. When you take out those screws, it looks like the whole thing will just come out. You'll just have to take off this little bit of tape holding it down, and you can pop the whole thing out, and then you can service the cooling there. But I want to do my review stock, obviously. But that's something you can easily do. When you take out these screws to take off the bottom, it is possible to just remove the whole motherboard. You can see it's ready to come out. Just that piece of tape would come out, and you're good. But anyways, let's do the little Oculink thing. That's cool. Take that off there so it's not irritating me anymore. And I do actually implore you guys to consider Oculink if you need dedicated graphics. I mean, this thing will be powerful on its own. I'm going to be quite honest. Spoiler, because I just know the chip, generally speaking, and I know Minisforum products. But if you are, you know, if you really want, you know, serious video rendering, serious gaming, you know, you could relatively easily and relatively inexpensively get one of those there and the parts that you need to really make that thing cook in there. You don't even need a huge power supply because this thing, you know, it's only going to be supplying power to the GPU. So you only need like a little small GPU. You don't need some 1000 watt thing or whatever. So let's go like that. That looks nice and clean. I like this here. I like the setup. And then, you know, just get yourself a big SSD if need be. And like I said, there's dual USB 4. So this thing now, right, is going to be an Oculink, but you still have USB 4, USB 4. So you're not really going to be hurting for storage. You could easily rock the single there and just get yourself an enclosure, right? Something like that. I have an Acasis one, just as a proof of concept, right? Like you could get yourself an Acasis or whatever brand, but just this is an Acasis one I have. It's a 4-bay NVMe enclosure, USB 4. So you can hook that in here and get yourself 8 terabytes. Right, that's a lot of storage there if need be. So don't worry about the fact that it only has one NVMe internal when you put the Oculink. Not going to be hard to expand this thing further. So let's get it back together and get tested. This thing's sick. I'm excited. I love Oculink. And there we are. We're all set up. Cute little guy right there. Looking fantastic. Like a little kind of Mac Mini type thing, but better because it's Windows and it's powerful. Anyways, so I run some benchmarks here. Spoiler, it's like the next day. Honestly, I just played a bunch of video games on it. It is what it is. Anyways, so the included SSD Kingston upper tier Gen 4 drive for speeds at least, looking pretty good. Mid to upper tier, so that's looking pretty good. And what else do I have in here? I do have some spoilers for the performance. We're not going to do that yet. Do have the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is looking pretty good here. That's the fastest Wi-Fi I've ever got for upload ever. And I'm not exaggerating, so that's fantastic. I actually did not know that my Wi-Fi went that fast. So that's good. That's cool. Anyways, so let's come in here. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I know what the scores are on this chip. And I mean, it's not shocking. We know what this CPU can do. But it has a new name. So they've relabeled it. And I'm also going to show you the noise and the... That's what I did. Anyways, so chip there. Idle is nothing. You know, sub 40. Fan silent. Actually, the fan might be on. I can't really tell. Hold on. Yeah, it's going. You just can't hear it. You have to actually put it on your ear. Basically, my noise floor is 33, 32, so I can't actually hear it unless I try to use my brain to distinguish it. Now we'll see here the thermals, see what we can get here. Let's kill that for a sec. Initial boost, no throttling. So sometimes you'll get a quick boost there, and then it will have to, the fans will go. The fans probably won't kick in for a while. $65 watts for a short-term boost, and then we're probably going to hang around 55 to 60. That's pretty typical of this chip. Again, this is essentially the 8845HS. It is the 8845HS renamed. Awesome chip. Very efficient. You know, if this was an Intel chip in the same class, I would say, usually you do need to push more watts to get the, you know, to the max performance. Intel or these AMD chips, they don't really need more watts than this. It doesn't really do anything. So you may look at that and say, oh, 60 watts. So let's take a poke here. Yeah, so 16,426, fantastic. And again, that's raw. There's no E-cores here that are going to inflate things like Cinebench. This is 8 workhorse cores on this chip here. I guess we'll do the noise. It's just not an extra 2 dB. It's very quiet. Many times these little mini PCs can be a little noisy, especially under load. This thing is very quiet. And without Cinebench, without hardware info running, our scores just running it through, oh, I actually didn't click in there. It's about the same. So we're looking at about 16,000. I cut the top off. We're looking at about 16,000 stable all the way through. I did like 9 minutes here and I was like, oh, whatever. So it's going to not get any hotter. It's going to sit at that temperature and it's just going to, that's the performance you're going to get, 16,000. That's fantastic if you're doing stuff like video editing. I guess it would be the AMD 260, we'll call it that now, or 8845HS, whichever variant you want, is going to be awesome for things like video editing. It's very capable for such workflows. Now, more fun things, and that is video editing. If you run the Oculink, I have the Oculink, so I only have one internal NVMe. That's fine though, because I'll just run a dock. I could run a full dock since there's 2 USB 4s. I could run I could run a dock like this that just has a USB based NVMe inside, running at USB 4 speed, so it's going to be 3,500 megabytes a second, which is incredibly fast. And then I could also run like a full dock. You can do whatever you want. You have 2 of them. Yeah, a little over 5 minutes worth. Bring it in there. Let's see how quick that process is. Video already processed, audio processed. Boom, done. That's fast. That's fast. The fact that I can bring in this file, the video is processed within half of a second, and then 1 second later you have your audio processed and you're ready to edit.
Part of it is just
right? Like there's no delay here. It's not like a chip where you put it in, you're like, all right, now let's wait around. It's boom. These are 4K 60 video files and they're instantly processing. Right? That's why I love this chip. It's real power. There's an 8-core processor, 16 threads. It's amazing for video editing. It just works, right? Then when you do the exporting, I'm not going to do it because whatever. When you do the exporting, let's just say we came in here, we went HEVC, we did a 4K thing here, 4K 60. This is usually how I record. Come in here and you have access to AMD video encoding engine, which is based on the iGPU 780M, which is awesome. I think that's the CPU. That's the iGPU. I don't know how this works, but whatever. You go like that and you have access to the iGPU, which is a very good encoder. Again, I've used this encoder more than I've even used dedicated graphics for encoding on this mini PC. So this 5-minute video would probably, and it's already going up. It'll just take, I don't know, a minute, right? 24, 25, a little over a second per thing. So 100. So we're looking at about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes to do this whole video. It's nothing, right? It's fast and it's silent. Absolutely no noise while encoding 4K video files, right? And of course, it's going quick also because it's coming off of this fast NVMe here. I don't want to wait here for that much time, but yeah, it's going to take 1 minute actually. So it's going to take probably about 1.5 minutes to do that video. Everything's fantastic. The other thing you can do here is you can hook up a freaking Oculink dock, right? So let me show you guys something here. We'll do it for the gaming section, like actually for gaming. But what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to show you how this works and how cool this is. So we have our Minisforum DEG1 or DEG-1. I can't remember how they label it. I think it's -1. Then you can see here right now the display port is plugged. Oh, you can't see. The display port is plugged into the mini PC, right? Well, that's not something we need to worry about anymore. We're going to go in here to this 4070 Super. Again, I said that right, a 4070 Super. You could go higher. The CPU can easily power a 4070 Super. We plug that into the Oculink dock. Yeah, you can see that. Oculink port. This is on. Now watch this. That's all there is to it. You have to install NVIDIA drivers, obviously, because it's an NVIDIA. If you have an AMD GPU, install AMD drivers or Intel. Isn't that sick? So now I have an AMD 260 CPU, very capable, with a 4070 Super. Now, just so you know, like laptop terms, because it's a laptop chip, it's about the same power as a 4090 mobile. It is actually the same power as a 4090 mobile. So it's going to be super quick, right? Now we come in here and actually, you know what? Let's do it. Because it's not just about gaming. This is I am going to do gaming in this video. But this is how I was gaming last night. I did a little bit of iGPU. I was like, screw it. Let's install the NVIDIA. You install the NVIDIA app. Already did it. And then you come in here and you go advanced. And now I have NVIDIA based encoding, right? And yeah, the iGPU is very powerful and very fast, but it's not going to be a 4070 Super, right? So 4070 Super, 4080, 5080, 4090, whatever, AMD 9070 XT, AMD 9060 XT, whatever. Look how fast that is now, right? Basically going to be 2 times as fast, something like that. Like it's actually really fast now, so whatever. So that's one of the advantages of this mini PC. Not only is it a sick mini PC on its own, like it actually is just dope, like straight up. It's a great product, but you're also going to get access to eGPU over either USB 4, and USB 4 is still good. You don't have to buy the DEG one, if you just already have a dock. But if you watch my videos, go back and watch my videos. I've been using for months. I know the video is not about this, and I'm not trying to cross-contaminate, but this is the MSA one, which is my other mini PC. I unplugged it right now because I'm doing review after review. This is kind of my main desktop. I actually have this Minisforum in here. There's a Minisforum ITX system in there, which I'm kind of using these days. So I'm kind of semi-retiring the MSA one, but I keep it around because it's dope. But I've been using that with the DEG one at the same time, all the time. So obviously, and like, by the way, these aren't sponsored. I bought it, wherever that went, bought it, right? So I buy these things. They're sick. That's how good they are. I like them. Anyway, so the last thing we're going to do here is some gaming. So we're going to do some iGPU gaming and we're going to do some DGPU gaming. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to run Doom here. Doom is incredibly hard to run, kind of not fair for the iGPU. Honestly, it's such a brutal game. It's just eating up most systems, to be honest, GPUs, but especially iGPUs. We've got to the point now where, sometimes the iGPUs are going to start being like, oh, this game's pretty tough. But honestly, the 780M has the chops to get it done, especially in this case because we have more RAM. So it's not like, some of those handhelds where you're going to be, stuck with 16 gigabytes of RAM and you're going to have to try to balance it here. We don't have that issue because this game can be fairly VRAM heavy. The other thing is this is not the 8840U or 7840U, whatever. It's the HS variant, so it's going to be faster. Okay, so we're not going to go full overlay. I don't want to do that. We kind of know what this chip can do. There's no point doing that, but let's just basically play. But spoiler, I've been playing for a few minutes. But this is 1080p with some scaling. We're on low, of course, but this game you can easily play like this. I mean, you could play at 30, but you really do want to be higher if possible because it is it's an FPS shooter. So if you can be at 30, it's going to feel fine. But if you can be at 40, it's going to be a big boost. Honestly, it's going to feel a lot better. It's going to feel smoother, which it does. There's a big jump, in my opinion, between going from 30 to 40. And the thing is, it's pretty much locked right around 40 here. Like our lows are what, 38? All right, it's very, very playable. Actually, the higher end one of this from Minisforum has one step up iGPU, which will be nice. So if you really, really, really want the iGPU to be more performant than this, do consider the Pro version of the X1, which I haven't reviewed, but they have it. However, this is the this is the non-Pro, and it's still very good. So yeah, make your choice. If you really you want to go from 40 FPS and you're like, no, I need like 50 to 60, then you get the Pro version of this chip, of this mini PC. If you're okay with where we're at here, then honestly you're going to be happy with this. It's really good performance. We're going to do Doom. I was playing Baldur's Gate yesterday, but as per usual, let's do some Doom. Doom, the Dark Ages, new one. So not 16:9. What are you, crazy? We can go higher than that. 1440p ultra wide. And performance metrics. Let's come down here. Nightmare. Yeah, we can do Nightmare. Why not? Maybe a touch of scaling. Frame gen. Nah. Yeah, let's just go like that. Now, I'm not going to do all the metrics and all that kind of stuff. We don't need to. It's not that kind of thing. It's not a GPU test. It's just the mini PC is dope test. So let's go like that. We'll come in here and we'll just fire up some Doom the Dark Ages on our 4070 super equipped mini PC. There you go, boom. Easy above 60, 1440p ultra wide on Nightmare, right? On a mini PC. This CPU can easily handle this Like I said, it can easily handle it. If you were at 1080p and you were doing maybe some like Call of Duty, I mean, very, very low settings. I mean, there might be a little bit of throttling, but you're still going to hit the native refresh of the screen anyway, so it won't matter. You really think so? You really think you can handle me? I'm mini PC gaming, bro. But I'm what was that? I'm mini PC gaming on a 4070 Super. Yeah, I mean, anyways, so there you go. That's some gaming. That is mini PC gaming. Mini PC gaming. A little bit of a setup. Now, normally what I do is I have my DEG1 tucked behind the monitor. I just took it out because I was doing other stuff. I was actually filming that video, so I needed the Mac there. But we're going to tuck that in there behind. It can be out of the way, and then this actually just sits right in front. It's a nice, clean little setup. Watch my review of the MSA1. The Minisforum MSA1, and I had a different setup. There's lots of different ways you can go. At one point, this is a mess now, but at one point I had the DGPU back on one of these, and I had my Mini under there. It's just a sick setup. So if you're looking to get something that's a nice clean setup, mini PC, just on its own, it's going to be fantastic for whatever it is you need to do. High level stuff, video editing, gaming, of course, you're going to be able to do. Whatever it is you want to do, you'll be able to do it just on the mini PC as it is. But having access to so much expansion over dual USB 4 here, and for me, importantly, the Oculink based solution there, you're really able to take a product like that, turn it into an actual gaming PC, which by extension means it's going to be fantastic for things like high level video editing, graphic design, engineering, whatever it is that you do. It's going to be fantastic. So that's the product there. I think it's worth getting. I believe they also, if you need something with slightly more chops, they do have the HX370 model of this that they're releasing like right now. So if you really don't want to do the eGPU and you just want to use the iGPU, that one is more powerful. Pick the one you want. They're both fantastic. They have powerful CPUs, powerful GPUs. I haven't reviewed that yet, but this one here is really a winner in my books.